What up, everybody? It's BBKDRAGOON Plaza Diamond Slayer, the map that has cinema. I love it when they say cinema. I went to film school for university, and so the teachers there would be like, going to the cinema, and whenever I go into that little cinema room, I'm like, why is this called cinema? I don't know if there's a theater or whatever. Anyway, I wanted to follow up on my week 1 Halo 5 impressions video. I put it out last week after a few days of play. It was mainly multiplayer focused. In that video, I spoke very highly of the, gameplay sandbox. I think out of the box, this is one of the best Halos ever in terms of balance and the way the actual game plays. I think the dedicated servers are great, and I think, visually Halo 5 is spectacular. But since then, I've beaten the campaign, I've put a lot more time into the multiplayer, and what I'm just going to be honest with it, I don't want to leave it with that week 1 impressions because it's not the full picture. Halo 5, I have no doubt, will become a great game, but as of now, there's just a lot of key features missing that will impact the population and popularity of this game. And it's just the plain simple fact they nailed what I think the hard part is, the gameplay, which is fantastic. Even starts, all the new abilities, it all blends into a nice sandbox. I'm not saying it's 110% correct, but I am saying they nailed it for the most part. But it's just so feature light. There's so many things from previous Halo games, staples of the series that aren't there, that are either going to be added in later or never added in at all. That's just going to impact the popularity and population of this game. So let's start, with the campaign. I'm going to go through a little bit of a systematic list, and I just want you guys to know I'm not a negative person, and this whole video is not to be negative. It's just to offer some constructive feedback and give the most honest, opinion of mine of this game. I've been super positive all the way through Reach, Halo 4, MCC. I've tried not to make my channel ranty and ravey, but I'm passionate about this, and I think constructive criticism is a good way to demonstrate that passion because we want to see Halo be the best it can possibly be. So starting with the campaign, it's short. It's, plug your ears if you want to. No spoilers, just jump ahead a minute. I ended up beating the campaign in about 4.5 hours, and that's not on stupid low difficulty. That's not me speedrunning it. I spent my time looking around, dilly-dallying, all sorts of stuff. It's just a very brief campaign. It doesn't mean that it's not a spectacle. Visually, it's brilliant. And I'm not even going to criticize the narrative. I know a lot of people are disappointed with the narrative, and I think there's a lot of grounds for that, but this is not my issue. It's just a short campaign altogether. There's no campaign scoring either, which kind of impacts that replayability, and there's no theater mode for campaign. Now, granted, the last theater mode for campaign that we had was Halo Reach, but that's going to play a role into something later in this commentary. So, again, narrative decisions aside, it didn't take that long to beat. And no split screen. I kind of defended the decision for no split screen prior to release. I'm like, hey, 60 FPS, it's way more important. But now that it's been out, I do wonder how much that impacted the game itself and press. Because Frank O'Connor just, did an interview this week where he commented saying, look, it's impossible for it to be patched into Halo 5. The way 60 FPS works, and the way our game engine works, the physics are tied to the frame rate. So if we did split screen, we'd have to bring it down to 30 FPS, and the game's physics, since they're tied to the frame rate, would be all messed up. We didn't have the resources and the time to do it for Halo 5, but he did say they're looking into it for Halo 6, or whatever the next Halo game is. Which for me is like a pretty big red flag saying, hey, we got dinged for that in a lot of reviews. Maybe we should have diverted more resources to this. It's such a staple of Halo, and to see it gone really is disappointing. It was just disappointing. No other way to say it. Now, on a multiplayer, I've said this before, there's a huge lack of playlists. Right now you have Warzone, and you have the only arena options. So you have Arena, Slayer, SWAT, Breakout, FFA. You have 5 4v4 playlists, okay? There's no unranked, there's no social playlist like Infection, Doubles, Multi-Team, Action Sack, Snipers, Griffball, or Objective, and that hurts the game, big time. A lot of people are drawn to Halo from all sorts of the spectrum that aren't just the ranked 4v4 game types. On a side note, for me personally, I don't think this will affect many of you, one of my best Halo friends is Sassy. He lives in Australia, we've played Halo together for years, and it's just been a big thing that we do. We enjoy playing Halo together. Played the beta for Halo 5 together, no problem, but if you have played with an international player, you can't join matchmaking if their ping to the dedicated server is too high. In Sassy's case, he has about 300 MS ping to the US. Well, Josh Holmes in a Twitter, wow, I sound like I'm 100 years old there, in a tweet said, if you have over 500 MS ping to the server, we can't let you start a game. That creates a bad experience for everybody. Well, I know for a fact he doesn't have 500 MS ping here. It's about 300, so that's a little bit disappointing. You know, moving forward, I'll never be able to play match-made Halo again with Sassy because of that. Now, I do understand the notion in a ranked playlist. No, if you don't want a laggy match, you want the best experience possible. But at least give us some sort of social option to where we can queue together, you know, outside of just campaign and custom games. That's you know, a thing that probably doesn't affect most of you, so I'll just move on from there. For me, it's really sad because we played the beta together. Why wouldn't it work at the launch? And anyway, Warzone. I'm actually pretty darn pleased with Warzone, okay? As a game mode, I think they did a good job creating something new, something fresh and fun, but not something that takes the place of social 4v4 game types. Like, it's definitely not that. The rec system, I like the rec system. I'm scared of what it's going to become in further Halos, but what irks me, what really stings and impacts... Every armor piece in the game is tied to the rec system, so you have to open them with rec packs, which are all random. So that means there's no piece of armor you can look at in the game and go, I want that, and then have a clear-cut route to getting it. It's all random. It's if you open the pack and get lucky, it's there. And I know you're laughing. The Destiny guy is talking about RNG. I'm just saying, in Halo Reach, man, if there was a piece of armor you wanted, there was a credit system. You earned credits by playing any game mode. You know, any game mode, campaign, firefight, multiplayer, you'd earn those points and you'd save them up, then you'd buy the piece of gear you wanted. So when you'd see somebody, you knew they worked hard for that piece and they purposefully bought that piece. That's not how it is. Anytime you see somebody in Halo 5, it's just like, oh, you could have gotten a lucky roll. You know, that I thought we were led to believe that you could earn the armor in-game outside of the rec system, but that's not really the case. Maybe it's just the fact that you can earn rec points and then buy the cards. That's how it is. Then there's the more obvious things. There's no BTB right now. There's no Forge right now. I know they're both coming later. There's no file share. There's no map voting. I've played the same Warzone map like 4 or 5 times in a row before, which is like 2 hours with the same Warzone map. I'm sure you've played maybe Rig like 6 or 7 times in a row. Sorry, Epos, I did not mean to ground pound you there. You just really have the 5 4v4 ranked playlists, and that's kind of it. Now let's look at Halo Reach, which launched in 2010, just for a quick comparison, okay? Reach launched with a campaign about twice the length of Halo 5, had campaign scoring, which was a way to score your performance in the mission, so it gave you a lot of replayability with you and your friends. Each mission had theater support, so you could watch the mission back and take cool pictures, go, you know, move the camera in some cool spots. It was just a nice bonus. Halo Reach multiplayer launched with both unranked and ranked options, with staple classic playlists being in the game at launch, you know, like your BTBs and more fun social game types than just the ranked options. The theater mode had file share, so you could share your replays with people like me, and I could do replay reviews using the theater mode. It had Forge at launch. It had a Firefight at launch. Firefight was a wave-based survival mode that was, you know, pretty darn fun. It wasn't the greatest in Reach, but it still was a nice feature. And Reach also had one of the best armor systems of any Halo ever. You pick the piece you want, and you work for it. I have like over 2 million credits saved up on Halo Reach because I was trying to get an armor effect like inclement weather. Those pieces really held prestige. And when you look at Halo 5 at launch, it just feels pretty darn bare. And what the real kicker is, it could have been the one. Had it launched with the right features, they nailed the gameplay in my mind. But if they would have had the features, this could have been the one that revived and kept that population thriving. You know, Halo has incredible numbers. Like, Halo 5 was the most sellingest Halo ever, which is great. But it's not just about how much you sell day one, it's about sustaining. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yet again, time will tell how this Halo turns out. Just like Halo 4, which evolved and became something really, really great, but it took a while. You know, with free maps on the way, BTB on the way, Forge coming down the pipeline, things are looking pretty good, and there's stuff to look forward to. But I'm just speaking for the perspective of wanting to see the franchise return to its glory days. And that only occurs if we not only grow, but sustain that population. Popularity on sites like Twitch and YouTube do matter as they afford more opportunities as the community grows. And it's kind of dead on Twitch already, you know? Like, it's already out of the top 20 Twitch games, and that's like, at the time of this recording, like just a little bit around a week after launch. And you look at something like Black Ops 3, which has just come out. It's got a campaign that's being praised for a lot of replayability. It has social and ranked options, spectator mode, zombies. you know, you might not want to draw a direct comparison, but the general public really does. Not the diehard Halo fans. I think Halo 5 is a great game for, you know, people who are serious Halo fans, because we are patient. We'll stick with the franchise. We'll stay around until it evolves into something even better because we just like that game. But for that general population, that casual player base, they're going to migrate. This is a really hard Halo, and there's only ranked options for 4v4, and if you're a solo player, guess what? You can match full teams of 4. That's really fun when you're in Diamond and Onyx, let me tell you, and you're just a solo player matching a full team of 4 working their way to champion. That is not an experience that somebody who's just a more casual player is going to want to enjoy. It tends not to be as fun if they're having to put 110% of effort in all the time. You know what I'm saying? So inwardly, I'm pretty conflicted about Halo 5. In many ways, my expectations were exceeded with the gameplay, dedicated server, spec mode. But in other ways, I'm pretty disappointed. The campaign's real short, so many features missing, and please, we gotta just get unranked game modes into Halo 5. Not just those weekend playlists. I'm glad you guys are doing rotating weekend playlists, but Team Snipers, Doubles, Multi-Team Action Sack, those playlists have earned a right in Halo. They've been here long enough, they've shown they're worthy. They shouldn't have to make it in through some weekend voting system. I do have some awesome news, though, as we wrap up here, and that is the return of the legend himself. Paul B is making Halo videos again, so you guys should definitely check out the link in the description below. If you don't know who Paul B was, he's an absolute Halo hero in the YouTube scene. Incredible guy, class act, good player, and he makes great Halo videos. He took a break from the scene around the beginning of Halo 4. He's just come back. It would mean a lot if you guys would go over showing some love. He will not disappoint you. This guy he's always been extremely kind to me, and he gave me so many boosts and pushes and promotions, and he's just a real role model for the Halo YouTube scene. And sound off in the comments, guys, if you know what I'm saying. There's many people with a lot of love for Paul, and with him just starting up, he's on a new channel. You know, driving any traffic his way would matter a lot, and if you're somebody who likes watching Halo YouTube, you won't be disappointed. That is the upward battle Halo 5 faces. They've got a lot to add over the course of the next few months, and the faster they do it, the better. And I don't mean this to be crazy negative. Halo 5 is a great starting point. It just feels like it could have been so much more. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Still enjoying it, still tip videos to come, but we really are just going to have to see how Halo 5 plays out. I'm interested, you know, it's another story to follow in terms of when and what's coming to the game. And like I said, I just hope it's really quick. Thanks for watching. If you stuck it through to the end of the video, I know it's a bit longer, but it wouldn't have done justice had I just gone, okay, bye. And with that said, okay, bye.